Welcome students. Today we are going to study Coulomb's law and its important aspects. Here Coulomb uh, deduced an expression for the force between two stationary point charges in vacuum or free space. So it is a equation or a law between two point charges. What is a point charge actually? A point charge is a one which has no dimensions. A point charge is a one which has no dimensions. Dimensions means it has no height or length or radius like that. So according to Coulomb, if two charges are kept stationary by a certain distance, if they are separated by distance q1 and q2, they are separated by a distance r, then the force on the second charge due to the first charge is given by F21 vector is equal to K q1 q2 by r square into r12 cap. Okay, this is the force of attraction or repulsion between the two point charges. Here both the charges are positive charges, so there is a repulsive force between them. So what is the force on the second charge by the first charge is given by this equation. F21 vector is equal to K q1 q2 by r squared into r12 cap, where r12 cap is the unit vector which is directed from q1 to q2, and K is a proportionality constant. q1 and q2 are the charges and r is the distance between them. Okay, so how will you represent this force? So if it is q1 and this is q2, then the force is represented by F21 vector because it is a repulsive force, so it acts away. So F21 vector and R12 cap is directed from Q1 to Q2. Now we will see what are the important aspects of this Coulomb's law. Important aspects of this Coulomb's law. The first aspect is, it talks about the law, that is, it is a statement of the law. What is the statement of Coulomb's law? The electrostatic force is directly proportional to the magnitude of product of the magnitude of the 2 point charges, and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. Okay, this is a statement of the law. The force of attraction or repulsion between 2 point charges is directly proportional to product of magnitude of the 2 charges and the distance between them. This is the first aspect. And the second aspect is about the force on the charge Q2 by the charge Q1 will always lies along the line joining the two charges. So it talks about the direction of the force. So in what direction the force acts? Along the line joining the 2 point charges. So if you take a charge plus q1 and q2, then r12 cap is the unit vector pointing from q1 to q2. Similarly, q2 also exerts a force on q1. Here the unit vector is represented as r21 vector, or it can be written as r21 cap is equal to minus r12 cap, because the force between them is equal and opposite. So r21 cap is written as negative of r12 cap. So this is the second aspect. And the third aspect is, it talks about the value of k. So what is the value of k? K is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. What is epsilon naught? Epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space or vacuum. Permittivity of free space or vacuum. What do you mean by the term permittivity? How many lines of force it allows to pass through it. For example, the number of electric lines of force varies from medium to medium. So in a medium, it differs from that of the vacuum. So how many number of electric lines of force that particular medium allows to pass through it, that is the measure. Permittivity is the measure of that. And this value of permittivity is epsilon naught is equal to 8.85 into 10 power minus 12 c squared n power minus 1 m power minus 2. That is the value of epsilon naught, and this is for free space or vacuum, and this value is a constant. Now we can determine the value of k. Substitute the value of k in this equation. We will get k is equal to 9 into 10 power 9 n m squared c power minus 2. So this is the value of k. So in problems and all, you can substitute 9 into 10 power 9 for k directly. This is the third aspect. And the fourth aspect is, what is the magnitude of the electrostatic force between two charges? Here the magnitude of the two charges is taken as 1 coulomb, and they are separated by a distance of 1 meter. In this case, what is the magnitude of the force between them? It is given by mod F is equal to K Q1 Q2 by R square. We know the value of K, 9 into 10 power 9, 1 into 1 by 1 square. What is it? It is 9 into 10 power 9. And the force value is, that is the force is usually expressed in terms of Newton. Therefore, the magnitude of the force is equal to 9 into 10 power 9 Newton. But this is a very large quantity, and it is practically impossible to obtain this very large amount of force. The practical units in our day-to-day life are microcoulomb and nanocoulomb. Microcoulomb, that is 1 coulomb is a huge quantity. It is a huge value. Therefore, the practical units are microcoulomb and nanocoulomb. These are the practical units that we are using. The fifth aspect is, What will be the value of force if it is kept in a medium? If the charges are kept in a medium, what will happen to the force? So in vacuum, we can write the force between the 2 point charges as F21 vector is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 by R squared into R12 cap. So this value is always greater when compared to that in a medium. For example, if you take a medium, this equation can be written as, in a medium, the force between the 2 point charges is represented as 1 by 4 pi epsilon into Q1 Q2 by R squared into R12 cap. Here we have to note that the force is inversely proportional to epsilon, and this epsilon value is always greater than epsilon naught. That is, in a medium, large number of electric lines of force can pass through when compared to vacuum. Therefore, force is inversely proportional to epsilon. It means that if epsilon value increases, then the force value decreases. So we can say the force between 2 point charges in a medium is always less than the force in vacuum. That is, we can write the force in a medium is always less than the force in vacuum. Here we can write another important quantity, which is called relative permittivity, where relative permittivity is represented as epsilon r, and it is equal to epsilon by epsilon naught. That is the ratio between the two permittivities in medium and in vacuum. And this value is 1 for air. The relative permittivity is 1 for air, and for all other media, epsilon r value is always greater than 1. So we can come to a conclusion that the force in a medium is always less than the force in vacuum. This is the fifth aspect. The sixth one is, we are going to compare the Coulomb's force and the gravitational force, because we find various similarities between these two equations, that is the Coulomb's law and Newton's law of gravitation. If you take Coulomb's law, F is equal to, or F is proportional to Q1 Q2 by R square, or we can write F is equal to K into Q1 Q2 by R square. Similarly, in Newton's law of gravitation, it is a force between masses. Here we see that F is proportional to m1 m2 by r square, or we can write F is equal to G m1 m2 by r square. Here you can see similarities. Here it is the product of the masses. The force is directly proportional to product of the masses. Here directly proportional to product of the charges. For Coulomb's law, force is directly proportional to product of the charges, and here force is directly proportional to product of the masses. And in both the cases, the force is inversely proportional to square of the temperature. So we are going to compare this Coulombic force and the gravitational force. So in 3-mark question or in 2-mark question, they may ask you the differences between the Coulomb's force and the gravitational force. Let us see how to write the differentiation. Coulomb's force and gravitational force. You need not write the laws as a first point. Other points are there. You can mention that points under this differentiation. The first one is the Coulombic force between two charges can be attractive or repulsive depending on the nature of the charges. That is, the Coulombic force may be attractive or repulsive. May be attractive or repulsive. That is, if two like charges are kept, there is a repulsive force between them, and if two unlike charges are kept, they attract each other. So it may be attractive or repulsive depending upon the nature of the charge, whereas the gravitational force, it is always attractive. So this is the first point, and the second point talks about the value of the proportionality constant. We know the value of K in Coulomb's law is K is equal to 9 into 10 power 9 n m squared c power minus 2. Whereas in the gravitational force, the value of G, that is the proportionality constant, is 6.626 into 10 power minus 11 n m squared kg power minus 2. So if you compare these two values, here 10 power 9 is a larger value and 10 power minus 11 is a smaller value. So we can come to a conclusion that the electrostatic force is always greater in magnitude than gravitational force for smaller size objects. This is the second point. And the third point is about the force in a medium. The gravitational force between two masses is independent of the medium. So whatever may be the medium, the gravitational force remains the same. Force remains same in all media. Whereas this Coulombic force between two charges depends on the nature of the medium in which the two charges are kept at rest. So it depends on the medium. Depends on the medium. So the third point talks about the force between two charges in a medium. So it depends on the medium in case of the charges. Whereas in the case of gravitational force, it remains same in all media, whether it is kept in air or water or any other media, the gravitational force remains the same. And what is the fourth point? It talks about the force of the force acting between two charges when they are in motion. So the gravitational force. So this is a Coulomb. This is a Coulomb's force, and this is a gravitational force. So the gravitational force remains the same whether the masses are at rest or in motion. The force remains same at rest are in motion. Whereas for the Coulombic force, if the charges are in motion, another force comes into play which is called magnetic Lorentz force. Okay. So the gravitational force between two point masses is the same whether two masses are at rest or in motion, whereas if the charges are in motion, another force comes into play along with the Coulomb's force, which we call it as Lorentz force. So these are all the differences between Coulomb's force and the gravitational force. And the seventh aspect of this Coulomb's law is the force on a charge q1 exerted by the point charge q2 is given by F12 vector is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r square into r21 cap. So it is the force on the charge q1 by the charge q2. That's why we change this pattern. F12 vector is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r squared into r21 cap. Here r21 cap is a unit vector from q2 to q1. But we know r21 cap is equal to minus r12 cap. They are equal and opposite. They are representing the unit vectors, but they are acting in the opposite directions. Therefore, we can write the equation as F12 vector is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r squared into minus r12 cap is equal to minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r squared into r12 cap. Or we can write F12 vector is equal to minus F21 vector. So it obeys Newton's third law. Newton's third law. And what is the next aspect? That is the eighth aspect. The expression for Coulomb force is true only for point charges. So the point charge is actually an ideal concept. It is very difficult to obtain a point charge. But we can apply the Coulomb's law for two charged objects whose sizes are much smaller than the distance between them. For example, if you take two charges and if the distance between the two charges is very large, when compared to the magnitude of the charge, we can make use of the Coulomb's law. Okay. In fact, Coulomb discovered his law by considering the charged spheres in the torsion balance as point charges. What is a torsion balance? It is used to measure small electric, magnetic and gravitational forces. And in this torsion balance, we have two charged spheres and the distance between the two charged spheres is much greater than the radii of the spheres. That's why we can consider the two charges that are separated by a large distance, we can consider them as point charges. So these are all the important aspects of the Coulomb's law. The first point talks about the law, second point talks about the direction of the force, third point talks about the value of the proportionality constant, fourth point talks about the magnitude of the force if the charges are having unit magnitude and separated by a distance unit meter. And the fifth point talks about the force in a medium and a vacuum. That is, it is a comparison between the forces in medium and vacuum. The sixth point relates the gravitational force with the Coulomb force. And the seventh point talks about how it obeys Newton's third law. And the eighth point talks about how these point charges are practically possible. And that is, by considering the large distance, we can take the two charges whose magnitude is less as point charges. Hope you can understand, children. Thank you.